Good morning, Rabbi Isai. How's everybody doing? Here live in South Africa in Medikwe. I'm sitting right in front of a watering hole behind me, and throughout the day, different animals come by and take a drink. Perhaps during the shear, if you're bored, see an elephant walk by. Just 2 minutes ago, an elephant came by, different animals. So the bottom line is, my suitcases once again got stuck in Eretz Yisrael with all my gear, all the stuff, the chargers for the computer. So I don't really have a computer, the cables for the camera, all that stuff, all the Gewaldige stuff. So we're doing with what we can do, recording off a cell phone, and let's see how it goes. My Svarim, I had different Svarim that I get different raid from, all in my suitcase. So let's get this going. We're holding Daf Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis, and we're in Sugya. We're holding by Ibit Toiveach Hayidei Acher, 2 lines from the bottom. So the Gemara is telling us right now that we're going B'shitas Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir holds that you could get Malchus and pay at the same time. It's possible such a thing. But the Gemara says that when it comes to Misa and paying, that can't be. In fact, when we say that a person who steals an animal and he has to pay Arba B'Chamisha, it's talking about a case where he sent a Shliach. And the Shliach did the Tvicha. The Shliach is the one that shechted, not him. And that's how we're able to get to a case of where he stole it. The Tvicha Mechira was done through somebody else. And the Gemara says, well, how's it possible if somebody else did it, you're obligated to pay for what somebody else did? Yes. But now the Gemara says, if in fact it's talking about that somebody else did the shchita, not you, my tamay the rabbanan de patri. So then the whole point is, come lay b'derabim minei. We have a situation where I am chayev on one, but I can't be chayev on the other. But if somebody else did it, so where do you have that patur? Says the Gemara, man chachamim, top of lamed daled amud aleph, Rabbi Shimoni, the omar shchita she'ein ruya lo yishma shchita. You know why you're not chayev? Because the shchita was done on Shabbos, and when it's done on Shabbos, according to one man, the omar called Rabbi Yochanan Sadler, it's not a good shchita. Let me get my charts here, which I almost lost. We're hoping that we could get some sort of connection with the internet. Ask the Gemara. I just said the entire sugya in 1 second, but ask the Gemara, if you're talking about Shora and Iskal, you're talking about Avodah Zara. So I understand that it's not Roi, it's not a good shchita. If you had Kavanah for Avodah Zara, it's not a good shchita. But ask the Gemara, oh, maybe it's on, okay, here we go. Just hoping it's not gonna die on me as we're talking, because there's no charge here. Okay, here we go. Elo shchita Shabbos, shchita ruya, but at the end of the day, when you do shchita first on Shabbos, it's a good shchita. You're allowed to eat the meat, the sna. We learned in the Mishnah, shchita Shabbos, we make Kippur, we shecht on Shabbos, we Kippur, after we mischayv b'shin avshoy. Even though you chayiv misa, shchita shikshera, it's good shchita. Says the Gemara, savar lo, Rabbi Yochanan Sadler. He also like Rabbi Yochanan Sadler saying, I'm a bashal b'Shabbos b'shoy, yoichal, b'meizel lo yoichal, dir Rabbi Meir. So now we have a very interesting machlokes between Reb Meir, Rabbi Huda, and Rabbi Yochanan Sadler. Now, let me get to that chart. Here we go. I don't know if you could see the chart, but this is for Yosef. Yosef, this is the chart that we're looking for. So, according to Reb Meir, the way to remember this, based on Iran, The way to remember this machlokes, if you can, and I'm going to go in the sheet of Rashi and Chula, not Rashi over here, just to make it easier and simpler. The mazid of Rabbi Meir, which says that if somebody shechs an animal on purpose, says two blue are the same. So the mazid that we just said, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that's Rabbi Yochanan Sandler, and that's the sheet that we're going in right now. That what? If a person shechs or cooks by accident on Shabbos, he cannot eat that food forever. However, other people have to wait until Motzei Shabbos. And if he does b'mezid, according to Rabbi Yochanan Sandler, it's usher for himself, it's usher for everybody forever. And that's the pshat here. You're asking me that if you shecht an animal on Shabbos, it's a good shechita, people can eat from it. No, according to Rabbi Yochanan Sandler, they can't. So I just want to make a point here to ask your local rabbi. You have this issue in Eretz Yisrael when you have factories that produce things on Shabbos. So here's the machlokes. If somebody a Jew produces something on Shabbos, b'mezid, is it mutter to other people? Not mutter to other people. There's some that are make a little bit in certain situations. If you look at some manufacturers, they put a date. Sometimes the date is the date that it was manufactured, sometimes different dates. You have to know. When I was a child, I lived in Bnei Brak, and people were machmer not to use electric because Jewish people are producing that electric. They're working the machines. So that's why a lot of people in Eretz Yisrael use generators. Some people won't even use the water on Shabbos. So these are halachas that you have to think about. It's a Maisa Shabbos. Some Ima Kodesh also bahana, you know that you're not allowed to benefit from kachim. Af Maisa Shabbos also bahana, so maybe you shouldn't be able to benefit, and you are allowed to sell this to a guy. The Torah adds in a word, it's yours. Yachal afilu b'shaygi. This halach applies only in Mezid and not Shaygeg. Machlokes is whether this idea of benefiting from something that was done on Shabbos is a deraisa or derabbanan. Man dama deraisa kedamar. It says in the pasuk u'shmartim es Shabbos. He brings a pasuk. Man dama derabbanan amakra kodeshi he kodesh ve'ei maseh kodesh. It is kodesh, but not its malacha. Uman dama derabbanan. In other words, Shabbos itself is kodesh, not the malacha, not the cheer that you manufactured in a factory. Uman dama derabbanan maitamayu. The Rabbanan and the Patria. Now, what's the reasoning behind Rabbanan? Keep Kopatri Rabbanan Ashara. You're right. Rabbanan only patrid on the other ones, not on Shabbos. So you have Avodah Zarah, you have Sharniskal. Says the Gemara, if you shechted a carbon, or you shechted an animal with the anticipation that should be with the kavanah should be Shimer, says the Gemara. Why? He gave it the animal to somebody to watch, and that's where the animal killed somebody, and the Bezin Paskin that you have to kill the animal. And the Geneva occurred in the watcher's house. Beautiful teretz. Says the Gemara, Reb Meir holds like two shittas. That what? First of all, we want to say that he took monetary value away from the shomer. How? Because there's a question whether the shomer could just say, Harei shel chalafanecha. Could he give the animal, he was supposed to watch the animal, and the animal went and killed. Could he take the dead or the animal is supposed to die and give it back to the owner and say, hey, here it is. But the owner's going to say, but it's worthless. It's a shara niskal. Here. Take it back. Says the Gemara, Savalak Reb Yaakov, Savalak Reb Shimon. Savalak Reb Yaakov, Damar, Av Mishanig Merdinoi, Echzir Shomer Lebalov, Muzar. If the Shomer goes back and gives it dead, whatever, to the owner, it's considered gave it back. Savalak Reb Shimon, David Davar, Hagoyim Lamamik, Mam Dami. And now another problem. Since I took the Shara Niskal, I took it, am I causing monetary atzma? You don't have to come onto the Shomer. That's too much of a tchak. Daf Lamed is sponsored by Moshe Horn. Let me just lower this here. Okay. By Moshe Horn. in honor of Zach, the Rock, Rocklin, and Lenny, learner CPA, and Yankel Cohen, the official MDA, MDY, MSP, and Hoodie Newman, in honor of Rebelli. Shkoyach. Remeir loiku mishalem islay. Remeir holds of loiku mishalem that you could be chayiv too. He doesn't say kol ramana. You could be chayiv money and get malchus. However, mace. Hold on, just don't want to shake this around too much. Okay. Mace mishalem leslay. He doesn't hold of the concept to get the death penalty and to pay a fine. I heard once, and I don't know how accurate this is, there are countries that if somebody commits suicide, they give him a fine. Kach shomati. I don't know if it's true or not. Kach shomati. By the way, just as a side note, since I was wearing I came out of Shir on Motzei Tisha B'Av, and I was wearing my MDY jacket, so it happens to be that the only clothing that I have is a white shirt and the MDY jacket, because everything else is on the plane somewhere. Just thought it was interesting to tell you. I'm on a safari with an MDY black jacket. Little strange. My dress shoes, my Shabbat shoes. All I need is my hat and my tefillin, and I'm ready to go. V'remeir loikum mishalem leslei mesim mishalem leslei. V'shani hani dechidushu shechitcha toyer beknas. So if this guy is chayiv misa, and Remeir holds that if you chayiv misa, you don't pay a knas. So why over here he pays the dal v'chamisha? He pays the knas. B'shani hachi, says the Gemara, hani the chidushu shechitcha toira b'knas. Since knas is a chidush, it's a special chidush. You could add a knas to his chayiv misa. Avagav the mikdol, even though he's getting the death penalty, Mishalem has to pay. Says the Gemara, Vaz the Rabbi L'Tamei. Now listen to this. This is amazing stuff. Rabbi goes in his own shita. Dama Rabba. I thought maybe I'll show you this. It came all the way up to me, but here, it's a very interesting red bird, red stomach. Can't really see it now. Okay. Next time. As the Rabbah brings to mind a Gemara that if you stop in the middle of learning, you say, Ma Elon Noah Mischai ben Avshoy, but the whole shir is predicated on stopping in the middle, a little break here, a little break there. So we're matter. Says the Gemara, Vaz the Rabbah Tamed Omer Rabbah, Hayigdi Gonov Loi Utfache b'Shabbos. If a person stole a goat before Shabbos, Utfache b'Shabbos, and then he was over on the tvicha, he shechted it on Shabbos, chayev. So he'd be chayev for, he'd be chayev. Shekvan is chayev b'gneva kodim she'ov the Isser Shabbos. The gneva already happened before Shabbos. Gonav. Hold on a second. So Nachamo, if he stole the goat before Shabbos and he did the tvicha, he shechted it on Shabbos, he's chayev the 4 and the 5. Shekvan is chayev b'gneva kodim she'ov the Isser Shabbos. It's a very, very beautiful cheshbon here, because he already stole it beforehand, so he's chayev on the principle first. So we could add the 4 and the 5 on Shabbos, even though he's chayev misa on Shabbos for shechting it. But since he was already chayiv on the principle on Sunday, so therefore he could add the 4 and the 5 on Shabbos. Gona v'tavach b'Shabbos. But if it all occurred on Shabbos, he stole it on Shabbos, potter. Then he's potter from the Dalet and Hay. Shem ein gneva ein tficha ve'ein mechira. Because, says Rabbah, you could only be chayiv on the 4 and the 5 if you're also chayiv on the principle on the gneva. V'amar Rabbah hayigdi gonov lo yutfache b'machteres. Thought this would be interesting. Here we go. He thinks they have something for him. They think we have food for them. Some sort of quill, I think that is. Something like that. Interesting bird. Okay. Says the Gemara, Oh, no, skipped. If you're not chayav on the principle, you don't pay the 4 and the 5. Why? We'll see soon. This very interesting idea. Listen to this, Rabbi Isai. Unbelievable. If he already stole the goat on a Sunday, and then he went and he shechted it. B'machteres means in a tunnel. He was tunneling into area. Yeah. It's kind of backwards. I hope it's not backwards when I show it. In b'machteres, yimotzei haganov, v'huka v'meis. If a guy is tunneling into your house, and the halacha is that hakam la'argecha hashkim la'hargoi. In other words, somebody is. Let me just fix this slightly. The horizon is slightly off. Okay. Somebody's breaking into your house, and we know that that guy breaking in knows that if you find him, you might try to save yourself. So therefore, he's willing to kill you. If he's willing to kill you, you could kill him first. That's the halacha. So the Gemara says unbelievable chap. Now let me, before I tell you what the Gemara says, let me tell you this Rebbe Yashiv. I thought it was fascinating. Rebbe Yashiv doesn't say it as a certain halacha, but he says ulai, maybe. And I thought it was fascinating. He says if a guy is texting and driving, and he damages somebody, he's potter from paying. Why? Maybe. He says maybe. Since if you text and drive, you're chayiv misa. You are chayiv misa b'dei shamayim or whatever. You have no business taking a vehicle that's a very dangerous thing and texting. You're being negligent. And while you were negligent, chidush atzum, you're potter from paying the damages because you're already chayiv misa and kamli b'derabminei. If you're chayiv misa, Hashem is upset at you. He's going to kill you for texting and driving. So you potter from damaging somebody's car. He says ulai. But you see this idea over here. A guy is tunneling into somebody else's house, so he's chayiv misa, so to speak, because the guy could come and kill him. He could preempt it and kill him. So he's chayiv misa. Chayiv, shekvan is chayiv b'gneva koydem she'ova the isur machteres. So the gneva, if he already stole the animal beforehand, he's chayiv in the 4 and 5. But listen to this. But if the whole gneva happened in the tunnel, he was tunneling into his friend's house, and all of a sudden he found a goat laying around in the tunnel, and he steals the goat, and he shechs the goat, he's potter. Why? Since he's potter on the gneva, why is he potter on the gneva? Because he's chayiv misa. You hear what's going on here? The cheshbon. Beautiful. He's chayiv misa, that's step 1. Why is he chayiv misa? Because he's about to kill another Jew, and the Jew could kill him, so therefore he's chayiv misa. And since he's chayiv misa, he's potter from the gneva. And since he's potter from gneva, there's no 4 and 5 if there's no gneva. Why? Says Rashi, unbelievable. The only time you're chayiv 4 and 5, you never chayiv 2 and 3, 3 and 4. You never chayiv 3 and 4. And over here, if you're not chayiv for the gneva because you're already potter for coming to the rabbinate, so then you can't pay the 4 and the 5. There's no 3 and 4. There's only 4 and 5. It goes together with gneva. Unbelievable. Gone of our machteres potter, shemein gneva in tvicha ve'mechira. Utzricha. Tiyashmin and Shabbos. So we have 2 cases here. Machteres and the one before with Shabbos. Tiyashmin and Shabbos mishum the Yisur Olam. If somebody's over Chil Shabbos, you could go after him for the rest of his life. If 2 Edom say, hey, in 1965 we saw you be Machal Shabbos, they'll put him to death. They'll stone him. There's no statute of limitation. But Machteres, it's when he's in the tunnel, then he's Chayiv Misa. As soon as he gets out of the tunnel and he's no longer a threat, even according to the Rambam, when he turns around to walk out, even though he's in the tunnel, also Potter. Emeloi. So maybe he shouldn't be potter from the money. Going to the tunnel, that's his warning. In other words, you don't have to go warn him. You don't have to say, oh, I'm about to kill you. Hands up, I'm about to kill you, and you're about to die, you're chayiv misa. No. A A guy comes in, you kill him. Shabbos the boy asroy meloi. Tzricha. Amar Papa. Hoysa bar gnuva loy utvacha b'Shabbos. If the same case l'chayra, instead of a goat, it's a cow. He had a stolen cow the day before Shabbos. Utvacha b'Shabbos, and he did tvicha, which usually is chayev 4 and 5. Chayev 4 and 5. Shekvan is chayev b'gneva, kodim sheyav d'liyis Shabbos. So Shabbos doesn't save him because he already stole it before Shabbos. But this is slightly different, as the Gemara is going to point out. If the cow was lent to him and he shechted it on Shabbos, patur. What's he adding to what we already learned? We learned the same case about a goat, and now he's talking about a cow. What's the chiddush? Says the Gemara. No, there's a big chiddush when it comes to lending things. I would think that when are you chayev to feed the animal? From the time that it went into your shoes. So it's about a case that a person borrowed an animal and he put a muzzle on the animal. So he's chayiv for not feeding the animal, and he's chayiv for the muzzle. So the Gemara says because he's chayiv to feed the animal from the moment that he borrowed it. So over here also he's chayiv in mezainas from the moment. Hachanami is our thing. Mishasheila is chayiv by himself. So since he's chayiv to feed and sustain this animal, so maybe he's also chayiv also for oinas from the moment that he borrowed it. Kamashmal, no, it doesn't happen then. It happens now. That's when you're chayiv. And that's what he wanted to tell us a chiddush. His chiddush is not goat, a cow versus a goat. His chiddush is lending. Listen to this. I think there's 3 major chiddushim here. It's like chiddush on top of a chiddush that I wasn't aware of these chiddushim. Here's the question. If a father borrows a car from his friend, and he dies, he has a heart attack, could the sons continue driving the car? I thought not. I borrowed the car, not my sons. No. He borrowed a cow, he borrowed it for 30 days. He could continue using it for the 30 days. Shalom Aleichem. You want to join the shir? I'm almost done. Could you do me a favor? Could you get me some water, please? I forgot to get water. Thanks. Somebody who borrows a cow, a car, whatever it is, and it dies, the car conks out. Depends, machmas malacha, not machmas malacha, but let's say you have a cow, you borrow a cow and the cow dies. As a oinus, you're chayiv. As a shol, you're chayiv. These children, they could use the cow, a chiddush on top of a chiddush, but they don't have to pay for anything. Now listen to this one, another chiddush. Let's say they thought that the cow is their own. They inherited it. And they thought it's their own. And memela what? They went and they shechted it. So you go into somebody's house, you think it's your cow, and you shechted that cow, you'd be chayiv full-fledged, the full amount. No, another chiddush. They pay 2/3 of what they had 2/3 of the value of the animal. In other words, whatever they had a from, not what it's worth in the market. Big chiddush, right? In fact, the halacha is that if I feed you, I give you something to eat, I could come to you 2 years later and say, hey, I gave you a meal, you owe me 2/3. I gave you another, and you owe me 2/3. I was thinking maybe I should, like for the shtick, I should go to everybody in MDY and say, hey, you all owe me, a couple $100 for all the coffee that you... Shkaya. There is an elephant? Let me know. Oh, is that an elephant? I don't see it. Let me know when it's there. I want to show the item. A whole herd is coming. You'll have a herd of elephants as we finish up this year. Maybe we'll just leave the camera on and let them watch later. Let me know when it's like really close, I could show them. Iniach lama v'yem parish v'lo mishtamshim b'hem kol yimei she'lasa mesa ein chayavim ba'insa kisvum shlavim it v'chum v'chum v'chlu misham d'mei bas v'zah. Now listen to this. Another halacha. Hiniach lo enavim achrayis nechasim, but if the father left over some real estate, chayavim l'shalom, then they have to pay. What? In what case? When they shechted the animal by mistake? Or the first case, when the animal died? So this is also for Yosef, but just in case, we have a reisha and a seifa. And then we have on the bottom, it says, Heniach aviem basabazol. Man de masala reisha, if you say it goes on the reisha, that what? That they are chayiv to pay even a situation where they had an oinus. They weren't negligent at all. The animal, there was oinus. That they have to pay from the father's real estate. Certainly if they went ahead and they shechted the animal. So what if they thought it was theirs? But they shechted, they did, it might be a dime. So certainly in that case. Upliga, the rapapa. And that will argue on rapapa. Uman de masla seifa. And the one who says it only on the seifa, in other words, that if the father has real estate, they are chayiv to pay when they shecht an animal by mistake. But now when there's a oinus, behind the rapap, and that's exactly what rapap says. Says Gemara, now we're going back to the original machlokes. Now what? Rish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan. Rish Lakish says, this is the sugi that we're saying right now. The Rish Lakish is going according to a mayor that says you could get malchus and pay. There's no kamler. You can do both. Rabbi Yochanan says no. If there's malchus and paying, you only pay. So now we understand why Rabbi Yochanan didn't say like Rish Lakish, because Rish Lakish is saying like Rameir, and Rabbi Yochanan wants to be with the rabbim like the halacha. The halacha is like chachamim. They come back and look at Rabbana. Ella Rish Lakish, my time elo amar ki Rabbi Yochanan. What forced Rish Lakish to go with the yachid? Amalach kivin dilu asrubei patur, kilo asrubei nami patur. Says Rish Lakish, I hold that in a case where if there would have been a hasra, there would have been a warning, they would have been potter. So also in a case where there's no hasra, and they go according to their own cheetahs. That what? If you have a situation of misa b'shoigeg or malchus b'shoigeg, and there's a chiyuv to pay money, dover acher. Here, usually we say dover acher means chazer. Dover acher means all sorts of things. We had some interesting things. Over here, dover acher is money. Rabbi Yochanan machayev, Rish Lakish amar potter. Says Rish Lakish potter. Rabbi Yochanan machayev dolei asrubei. Rabbi Yochanan says, but there's no asra, so how can he be chayev? Rish Lakish amar potter, kivin dilu asrubei potter. Rish Lakish says, no, you're potter. You know why? Because had there been a asra, you've been a potter. And with that, we finished. Have a wonderful day, but I'm going to show you real quickly. My son says that there's elephants here, so let me see if I can find the elephants. Hold on. It's pretty far, he says. Let's see. Straight ahead? Huh. Where? Oh, here, yeah, there are elephants. Here we go. Here's an elephant. Let me see if I could zoom in for the olam. Or let me, hold on, let me turn it around. Let me turn it around. For some reason, it doesn't want to turn around. Yeah. Where's the baby? Where do you see baby? Oh, there's more here. The elephants between the tree, right over there. And right over here. question is, why can't I want to turn this around.